Okay, these are the supplies you'll need to hook up the K9 DR181 Holter monitor. This is the monitor. Leads are connected. A vest, electrode gel. You have the electrodes. You'll need AA batteries, data card, 3-inch elasticon tape, Unisolve adhesive remover to remove the tape. You'll want to have some fairly sharp scissors and the hookup chart so you properly connect the leads to the dog. All right. Come on, Lex. And now we're going to demonstrate hooking up Lex. And the first thing you do, remove the monitor from the pouch that it comes in. The back of the monitor has a cover. Remove that by sliding it. And insert the data card. This goes in label side up, the contacts down. Put the contact end in first. And you want to slide it in there until it clicks in place. And you saw I had to push it several times, but you can tell when it clicks in place. For now, don't insert the batteries. Just insert or put the cover back on and put it back in the pouch for protection while you hook up. All right, now Lex is going to be our subject today. Aren't you, big boy? And this works best having two people, someone to help hold this monitor while you hook it up. And the first thing I'm going to do is get the chart, and I'm going to, it doesn't matter which side you do first, but in this case I'll do his left side. The chart calls for the black, orange, and red lead. So we'll separate those. Black, orange, and red. And go on and separate them from the others. Sorry, Lex. That's what you get for being our guinea pig. It is like spaghetti. All right. And I'll lay these others on the right side. Go on and snap the electrode patches on the leads. There's a little snap. Press them on there. And I like to go on and snap them on the entire side. Okay. Now, the chart says red, orange, then black. And what you're going to do, okay, we start with the red. We pull the backing off, and you put a little dab of the gel right on that metal connector. And where this goes on the dog, the elbow, it starts level with the elbow, about 2 fingers behind his armpit. And you just stick it on him. Then we go to the next color. We'll dab on the metal connector. This goes directly above the other one. And you kind of follow this shape of the muscle here. So they kind of angle back a little bit. Little dab of gel. And directly above the orange. And that's got an adhesive on it, it'll stick. You still have to be somewhat careful because you can pull that off. The longer these are on, the stickier they get. So initially, you don't want to pull them off after just putting them on. Okay, then we move to the right side of the dog. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the patches.
Turn him around.
I'm going to place the patches on all 4 leads. Now, I personally like to turn, if you notice on these patches, this is a little pull tab where these little stripes are. There's no adhesive on that part. I personally like to turn that towards the wire. It just makes removal a little bit easier. You can get a hold of it as you're pulling this wire loose. You can grab that and pull the whole thing off. You don't have to, but I found it just makes things a little easier when you go to remove this. Okay. Now, on the right side, we go green, brown, blue, white. So we'll start with green. Little tab of the gel. And the gel is very important. You don't want to forget to put that on there because that's what gives you a good conduction and you'll get a really good reading. And there again, it's 2 fingers behind this muscle. Elbow's right here. You're going to go pretty much even with that elbow. So green. Brown. And you notice I'm following kind of this line. When you handle these as you're putting this gel on, it's another reason I like to put this little tab towards the wire, because you pull this off, you can kind of grab hold of it there without it sticking to you, because that adhesive will stick to you and you can't get it off your hand, just like that piece of grass. And white. Okay, now that the dog is hooked up, we're going to insert the batteries and make sure everything's hooked up properly. So you open the case, give it to your dog handler, and you're going to open the monitor back up, insert the 2 batteries. Put the cover back on, and you're going to get this reading. First thing, check your battery. Make sure that you've got at least 50%. If you don't, I would put new batteries in it, because the last thing you want is for the batteries to go dead in the middle of a recording. So your batteries are good. You're going to hit the next, which is this button. Now it comes up with new patient. You have to put in a number. There are no ID numbers for this, but you do have to put a number in. So you can put in any number you want. I just put in a 1, and then it says next. Hit that one. Okay, now you're going to get these readings. All right, I've got 5s. This is where it's checking his heartbeat. 3. A 3 is minimum for a good recording. That usually means you've got a lead that's not stuck good. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check my leads, make sure they're all on and good. Okay, one over here was sort of a little loose, and that's kind of normal before you tape the dog. Now I've got all 5s. You can record with a 3, but it's better if you can get a 4 or 5. If it's below 3, you definitely need to check your leads. And once you're happy with what you're getting, you hit right in the center, it says record, right where this button says diary. You hit that, and it says start recording. Once these big numbers come up, it's recording. That's your time of day that it started your 24 hours. Okay, and once you have that, put it back in the case. And you have to be a little careful with these leads at this point because it is recording and you don't want to pull them off before you tape the dog. And the best way to tape these on, you'll start at the center of the chest and you're going to go, whoops, that stuff is sticky. You're going to go right over top of those leads and then right over the center of the monitor. And then you'll come down the other side and cut it off, and you're going to go right over top of the other side of leads. And adhere it to the dog. All right. Now, the next row, thank you. I'll let you hold this. The next row, go on and unroll a bunch of this tape. And I like to start, you want to come over here? I like to start, kind of get your wires tucked in a little, and I start right below those leads at an angle right over top of the other tape. The less adhesive on the dog, the easier it is to get off. And then I go right half on the monitor, half on the dog. Here. Okay. And kind of tuck this in a little, and I go right back at an angle over that. Okay. Got a little sloppy, but it's on there. Now the third piece, you're going to start over here. And I start somewhere where these two meet. And this one keeps it from sliding forward on the dog. And I go right across the front, half on the dog, half on the monitor. And back to this side. All right. Back to this side. And just like that one, kind of cross over. All right, now we're going to put a vest on it. And when you start that recording, you need to make a note of what time of day it is, because that's the time of day, the next day that you're going to remove this. And when you put the vest on, pull it over his head, there's only one thing to be careful with the vest. And what you do, pull the dog's leg through. Come on, buddy. Oh, you're a big guy. I know. There you go. Pull their little legs through. Oh, you're so good. Such a good boy. And then when you go to pull this back, I like to pull this bottom, kind of stretch it down and over those leads so you don't drag it and pull everything loose that you just did. This tape gets stickier as it's on there, but right at first it'll come off. So just pull that bottom first, then pull the top back. And he is hooked up. That should be there just exactly as it is 24 hours later. They can play in it, just don't let them get it wet. And then at the end of 24, oh, I'm sorry, bud. At the end of 24 hours, to remove this, you're gonna do a reverse. You're gonna pull the vest off first. Come on, big guy. All right. All right, now this first piece of tape, you can generally remove it without any adhesive remover. It'll be a lot stickier than this after 24 hours, but you can usually get it off okay. The next one, you're going to need remover. And what I do, I start down here where it's crossed over that other tape. And that's the reason for crossing it over, so you don't have so much of this on the dog. And it's easiest to run the remover, just kind of pour it and rub it downward, and it comes off. Now there again, it'll be stickier than this because this was just put on. But if you pour remover and rub it downward like this, it'll peel off. All right, now as far as using scissors on this, it's best if you don't, but this one piece you almost have to. And where are they? Under the vest. And when you do this, be extremely careful to not cut those leads, because if those leads are cut, the monitor can't be used. So it's best to lift the tape off the face of the monitor where you know you didn't string any leads. They're all under it and to the side. I like to put my fingers under it and feel it and just reassure myself. And then you cut that tape right in the center. But don't cut any other places. Okay? Now at this point, you can get to this. Before you take this off, go on and remove this from the case. Take the cover off and take the batteries out. And you're stopping this recording so it doesn't pick up all this removal, because this thing's recording until these batteries are out. And then while you remove the rest of it, you're going to have somebody help hold that on their back. And once again, to remove it, you just run the remover and rub it downward. I rub it with my thumb and it rolls off, not this easy because it'll be pretty sticky, but it does come off. And you'll have to keep pouring as you rub. And these patches typically come off with the tape. If they don't, which see in this case they're not, just put a little remover under them and peel them off. And then once you get the patches off, you're going to remove them from the leads. Hold still, buddy. Okay. And then we get the other side. Stay still. Hold still, buddy. Okay, I'll trade you. And you'll have to do this to remove this. I don't have to, because like I said, I just put it on him. It's coming right off. But these are a different story. Let's do it, bud. All right, and once that's all removed, you're going to the monitor, take the back off, and remove the card. And the card will come back to us along with the monitor and any other supplies, and we will take care of it from there. And that's it.
Thank you.